It's bedtime story time! Learn to love to read with Dr. Frausto every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on Facebook Live.
Hi everybody, it's Wednesday, so that means it's story time. We apologize about last week. We had a little technical difficulties and we just could not get our story out, so we had a little rerun, but I hope you all enjoyed it. Today, actually, we got a story for you. We've got it on YouTube. But I do want to touch on a few couple of things about our current COVID situation. Many of you have been calling the office letting me know that your kids have been exposed at school. A family member has been tested positive. You've taken a home test and it's been positive. So we're seeing a lot more activity of COVID and the school arena. So I wanted to touch a little bit about how we can continue to protect ourselves, and a little bit on the vaccination as well. I know that is now available to everyone 5 and older. If you had 2 doses, that 3rd dose is now recommended, particularly for those that are high risk. But now the kids are on board here with their vaccinations. We have several places in town that are doing the vaccines. We've got El Paso Children's Hospital, Providence Children's Hospital. The schools are doing them. Pharmacies are doing them. We got a lot of access. The city is doing them. The zoo, I believe, is going to be doing them. So we have a lot of opportunities to get vaccines. But one of the questions I've been getting about vaccine is like, why should kids get vaccinated 5 to 11 if they don't get that sick? Well, you're right. Most of the time, kids don't get that ill when they get COVID. They may get some mild symptoms. But in the last year, we've seen a great increase, and 30% of the kids that have been getting COVID have ended up in the hospital. And this is in relation to the the Delta virus, because it is a bit more virulent, meaning it spreads much more quickly and it's causing much more problems for children. So, luckily, most kids do okay. But the problem is kids can be a source of infection themselves. They can spread the virus to other people. And this is what we're seeing in schools. Back when the pandemic was really starting to make its appearance here, we were seeing parents getting COVID from work, bringing it home to their children. Now we're seeing kid to kid in school. They're going back and forth. They're giving it to each other now. Okay? So now they're bringing it home and now making dad sick, making grandma sick, things like that. So kids are a source of the virus now. Initially, we didn't think that was the case, but time has proven that that's not it. Everybody is susceptible to spreading the virus. So, the vaccine can help us from getting infected. Is it 100%? No, not 100%, but it can prevent you from becoming infected. And if you do, you have a very mild disease, and you don't end up in the hospital, you don't die. That's the reason for the vaccination there. But also, when you pair that with your mask, your social distancing, you drop the risk even greater of spreading the disease. COVID virus needs a host, a human host, to spread to other people, to continue to multiply. The vaccine is one part of breaking that cycle. You get infected, you may not realize you're sick, you're talking, you're with your friends, droplets, these aerosols are coming out of your mouth, and other people around you are now becoming infected. Now, if one of those individuals is not vaccinated, they become infected. Now, you didn't know you were sick. 3 or 4 days later, throat, stuffy nose. You go get a test. You're positive. Well, guess what? You were infected 3 days prior, and you were spreading the disease. Now, when you cough, all those particles come out, and now we even spread it even further. Vaccines are one way to halt that process. You get vaccinated, your risk of becoming infected has dropped. When you add a mask and your hand sanitizer and your distancing, you've reduced that risk of being infected. If this virus does not have a human host to replicate and then spread, guess what? It's going to fade out. But we need to use all the tools available to us to prevent that from happening. So that's why kids need to be vaccinated, because they can be a source of infection for those that are most vulnerable. Grandma, Grandpa, think about it. This holiday, this is kind of one of the biggest holidays that now everybody's really going to be together. Is it safe for Grandma and Grandpa to be next to their little, their little grandchild who they want to visit and they want to visit with Grandma and Grandpa, but if they're infected, now Grandma and Grandpa are now at risk. So we need to take these things into consideration. If you feel that your child has been exposed, you get a call from the teacher, let me know. I've been testing all week. We've had a handful of positives already this week. So we are doing, but I do the PCR, which is a send-out test, which is the gold standard to diagnose infection with COVID. So we will do this testing here and then send it out to the lab. If you have any questions or concerns, please let us know. We'll try and help you. All right. Let's get to our story now. I know that was a little bit of a long segue into our story, but I really think it's important information that you need to have. All right. So we're going to read today. It's called All by Myself by Mercer Mayer. We got found it on YouTube, of course. Still having a little trouble getting to the library, but that's okay. We're going to use this one. I think this is a nice little book. I want to touch a little bit about what's going on with this little Mercer Mayer book here. All right. I can get out of bed all by myself. I can button up my overalls. I can brush my fur. I can put on my socks. And tie my shoes. I can pour some juice for my little sister. Oops, kind of missed the glass there. And help her eat breakfast. That looks like a handful there. I can pull a duck for her. I can drive my truck. I can ride my bike. I can give a drink to my bear. Oops, that's a big drink there. I can kick my ball. And roll on the ground. I can pound with my hammer. I can sail my boat. Put his little mouse friend in the boat there. I can look after my little sister. I'm not sure if he's doing a good job of that, but I can help my dad trim a bush. Ooh, watch out with that. You need supervision with those. Or ice a cake for mom. That's the best. I can look at a book and find a mouse. I can color a picture. I can put my toys away. And get into my pajamas. I can brush my teeth. I can put myself to bed, but I can't go to sleep without a story. Good night. That's All by Myself by Mercer. This is a simple book, I know, but moms and dads, how many times have I asked your kids some of these questions? What can they tie their shoes? Can they dress themselves? Can they brush their teeth? Can they feed themselves? The reason why I ask these questions is because the job of a pediatrician is to look at not just the physical health of your child, but the developmental health of your child. So I want to take a look at their motor skills, the fine motor skills. That's the writing, that's the using utensils, that's coloring. The language. Are your kids developing their words on time? Are they combining words? Do they comprehend what you're asking them or we're telling them to do? Gross motor skills, that's the big stuff, riding a bicycle, taking off that shirt, pulling off, those types of skills. And also, are they behaving appropriately with their siblings, okay? The job of a pediatrician is to look and ask questions about development to determine if your child is delayed or if there's a concern with some of this, with their abilities. The sooner we catch problems or concerns with these delays, we can address them much sooner and we can rectify the issue. Now, some kids do have a disorder that prevents them from learning rapidly or learning a new skill. Others, sometimes, unfortunately, big sisters, moms, dads, you want to do everything for your kiddo. You want to put their clothes on for them. You want to do that. It's faster. I understand it's faster for you to put their clothes on or to take off their clothes or to pick up their toys, but they're not learning. These are skills that are important for them to learn how to do. And moms and dads, helping your kids to do that skill is part of your job. It's not there to cater to them, to do everything for them. We're not helping the kids by not allowing them some independence. This little one he made some mistakes. He spilled the juice for his sister, but he attempted. He was watching his sister. He helped his dad with chores. These are all skills that obviously, they have to learn how to do, and with your supervision. So when I ask these questions, it's not to offend you that your child is not doing well, but it's to look for those issues that we may be, hey, mom, let's try this. Let's go ahead. Your kiddo's a little bit behind on this, but we can catch up by doing these types of activities so your child will develop on time. Trust me, this will help you down the road. A child who picks up his toys when he's a toddler is going to be much more helpful when they're older. It's a skill that they learn early on. So please keep that in mind when I'm asking these questions. It's simply because it's my job to make sure your child is physically, developmentally, and psychologically growing healthily, all right? So I'm still going to ask those questions, so be prepared, all right? And I'm going to make your kids do some things on their own. Once again, how are they independent? Are they learning these skills? I'm going to keep doing it, so that's just how it's happened. It's going to work, all right? We hope you all have an enjoyable week, and we will see you next week. It's almost Turkey Day. Bye.